does care about our joy. He does care that we have a rich and satisfying life. In fact, if you read through the Bible, there are many passages where joy and happiness are mentioned. Let me throw a few out really quickly. They're listed in your notes, okay? But I'm just going to throw them out. Luke chapter 2, verse 10, when Jesus' birth was announced, okay, what does it say? The angel reassured them, don't be afraid. I bring you what? Good news that will bring what? Great joy to all the people. John 15:11, Jesus said, I've told you these things so that you will be filled with my joy. That's what Jesus said, right? You'll be filled with joy. Psalm 4:7 says, you have given me greater joy than those who have abundant harvests of grain and new wine, right? You have given me greater joy. Think about the world we live in right now. Abundant harvest and new wine is basically riches in the culture of the Old Testament, right? And he's saying here, the writer is saying that you've given me more joy than the people that have all the things in the world. All the stuff, all the trinkets, all the toys, all the awesome stuff. And check out Proverbs chapter 10:28 says, the hopes of the godly result in happiness, but the expectations of the wicked come to nothing, right? When I read that last verse, right, it reminds me of something I think is so true, that the culture we live in, guys, is constantly screaming in our faces that the answer to our happiness, right, is a whole bunch of different things other than God. Yes? I mean, that's kind of just where we live, right? Right, to be happy, you need more money, more shiny stuff, a better relationship, a better job, better house. It goes on. And meanwhile, the Bible says the hopes of the godly result in happiness, right? But the expectations of the wicked come to nothing. See, sadly, when the world thinks of Christians, the last thing they think of is happiness and joy. And that's why we need to focus on allowing God to develop those things. We talk about happiness as a 9-letter word and the fact that God does care about our happiness. We need to focus on this fruit of the Spirit so that when people see the church, which is basically made up of us, that's what Jim prayed this morning. When people see your life, when they see how you go through trials, when they see the difficulties that we go through, right, they see the joy of God. Doesn't mean that you're happy in it all the time, but they see that joy. And that joy would lead them into a curiosity to say, how do you have that? How do you have that joy in your life? Now, if you're still with me for the next few moments, I want to switch gears and get into some super practical things about how we can allow God to develop these things in our lives. If you're thinking about the happiness as a 9-letter word, how do we find true happiness in this lifetime? Let me start with this, right? 3 things that will steal your joy if you allow it.